afternoon and welcome everyone. My name is Megan Bentley and I'm the events coordinator for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. We are excited that you are able to join us for today's Spotlight Series mini episode on whole health solutions for veterans and caregivers in a post-pandemic world. I'd like to take this moment to thank both Philips and the VA for their sponsorship of this program. Before we get started, I want to mention to all attendees that this is a recorded broadcast. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel post-airing. Today's webinar will not feature a Q&A segment, but we do invite you to submit any questions you may have to events@elizabethdolefoundation.org. We will do our best to respond and share our resources with you. I'd also like to note, while we encourage dialogue, the chat feature will not be monitored today. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's expert. Joining us from the VA, we have Dr. Benjamin Kliger, Executive Director of the VHA Office of Patient-Centered Care and Cultural Transformation. Dr. Kliger, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me here today to talk about how to stay well and healthy using some of the strategies from Whole Health. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to share with you just a couple of basic sort of concepts about what is whole health and how might it apply to you in your life or you and your family. And then we're actually going to dive in and show you some very specific tools and techniques that you can use for yourself, with your family, with your caregivers, at home, anywhere you like, anytime. So that's our plan for the next few minutes. And then I'm also going to demonstrate for you one of the specific exercises that I really like that's been very helpful to me for years, really, but especially in the recent crazy times we've all been going through. Next slide, please. So I just want to give you all a definition of whole health. Some of you may already know this since you've chosen to be here and watch this session. Whole health, this is how we define it: an approach to healthcare that empowers and equips people to take charge of their health and well-being and live their life to the fullest. And really the goal with whole health is to help you think about what matters most to you, what's important to you in your life, and what kind of tools or techniques or resources do you need to try to get there. Now, this is something that's happening all across VA, really, nationally, and it's part of how VA is really starting to think about itself in terms of what its job is. We're there to treat diseases and help you if you need surgery or help you if you need physical therapy or medication, but we're also there to help you build skills to improve your well-being and to help you get more out of life. So that's the basic concept of whole health, and hopefully what I'm going to do now will illustrate a little bit what I mean by this. Next slide. So we use something called the circle of health and well-being, and this is just really, really useful in starting the journey and kind of helping you decide where to start. Because if you just say to yourself, well, what's most important to me is being around with my family. Well, where do I start? Well, this helps you get specific and helps you choose an area or more than one area where you might decide to start. And so you can see this is the circle of health. That's not me, that's you, are at the center. Mindful awareness, kind of trying to work on being present and in the present moment, is a kind of an important underpinning of the whole concept. And then from there you branch out and you can see you might choose a whole wide range of different strategies. Working the body. Are you walking enough? Are you exercising? What about food and drink? How are you doing with what you're eating and drinking? Is it contributing towards you being more healthy, or is it taking away? What about spirit and soul? Maybe you once upon a time had a strong connection with the spiritual community or your church or your synagogue or your mosque, and maybe recently you've let that drop. Is that good for you? Do you want to rethink? And as you can see, walk around all those 8 areas and think about, well, where am I strong already? Where could I be stronger? And you won't decide to do something in every area all at once. That's not practical. It doesn't make sense. So you really want to pick 1 or 2 to start with. And then ideally what you do within that is you think of a goal and you try to make it what we call a SMART goal. And a SMART goal is something that is measurable, has a time attached, and it's realistic. So instead of saying, I'm going to lose weight, what you might do is say, over the next month, I'm going to stop drinking soda. I'm going to replace it with seltzer water with a little bit of juice. And I'm going to do that for a month. And that would be your SMART goal in the food and drink arena. So there are a million different ways to do this. You can do it on your own. You can do it with a health coach. You can do it as a family activity. The important thing is really to just do it and start taking steps. And I think, one of the things that the pandemic taught us is that it's really important to be well in preparation for whatever comes our way. And I think that lesson is something we should really take forward from the pandemic so that we're ready for whatever comes next. Next slide. So what I want to move into now, that I gave you a couple of the concepts, is really to show you a couple of very specific resources that you can use to help you access some of these skills, help you develop some of these skills. This is our website for my office, which is called the Office of Patient-Centered Care and Cultural Transformation, which is part of the VA Central Office. And our office is responsible for helping move forward this idea of whole health and helping more and more veterans have access to it until eventually everybody across the VA system and even outside will have access to it. And so I'd really encourage you to, when we're done with this presentation, take a look at this website. It's a great starting place and a great kind of, shopping mall for some of these whole health skills and experiences and opportunities. So I'll just say the website, va.gov/whole health, WHOLEHEALTH. That's our website, and that will take you right here. And what I'd encourage you to do, obviously you should click on any part of this that you're interested in, but you may want to look at the tab on the left that says Veteran Resources. And under there, you'll see all kinds of specific categories of resources, written handouts, videos, talk about the My Life, My Story program that may be helpful to you. There's also information about our mobile app and some of other online applications. One of the tabs I wanted to make sure I shared with you is this one, which is called Feature Stories. And basically what the feature stories are is they are brief articles that our team has developed with a specific veteran, just basically describing their experience. What did whole health do for me? What did it mean for me to start working on taking more charge of some of how I approach food and drink, or spirit and soul, or family and friends? And so what I thought was that reading one or more of these stories might give you a little, like a little foothold or a start on, well, what does this mean to really do this? I can talk to you about in abstract about the resources, but what would it really mean for me, for you, if you were to start to give this a try? So I'd encourage you to go to va.gov/whole health and click down in Veteran Resources till you get to that Feature Stories page and just have a look at one or more of them. I really enjoy reading these. They really make the whole thing real. They take it out of the abstract concept of, what are we talking about whole health, and really show you what individual veterans are doing with it. Next slide. Another great resource that we have for you, and this is really in some ways the core of this session, is for you to take a look at this and give some of these things a try. It's called the #LiveWholeHealth campaign. This is a program that we were asked by the Secretary of the VA to stand up early in the COVID pandemic in response to the fact that we knew that veterans, anybody for that example, would not be able to have access to their providers, to their VA facility. People were going to be stuck at home for quite a good long while. And we needed, as the VA, to be able to give people tools and resources that they could use at home to stay healthy. And so what we did together with some other offices in the VA is we put together a set of videos, and I think there are about 75 of them now. And these all cover a tremendous range of different topics. They go all the way from chair yoga to acupressure or other kinds of massage you can learn to do on yourself, to Tai Chi, to guided imagery or meditation, exercise, using music. And really, there are so many different options in this campaign that there's something in there for everybody. And so I really want to encourage you to bookmark this site after you finish this session, and really go there and take a look. If you can't figure out how to bookmark the site, you can always just Google #LiveWholeHealth, and it'll take you here. And basically, when you land here, any one of the ones that you pick is fine. There's no right one. There's no idea that you have to do all 75 of them. There's no specific order. It's really for you, and it's about just scrolling through the pages and looking at what's available. And there's several pages you can look through, and then picking one that grabs you, one of the ones that says, this might be for me, and opening it and giving it a try and seeing how that works for you, or seeing how your family likes it or your caregiver. And if that one doesn't work for you, don't give up. Just say, that wasn't the one. Go back and find another one. And I guarantee you, if you give it a try, there'll be something on here for everybody who is listening to this that can help them as a tool to help them feel more healthy, more well, more in charge of their life. So the way they work is when you go to a particular one, you have a little bit of text at the beginning describing what it's about. And then right down in the middle of the page, you will see a video. And what you need to do is just go ahead and click on the video and then see where it takes you. So we're going to take a look at one of them. This one's a long one. It's about 15 minutes, I think. So we'll just watch the first couple minutes. But really take a look at it and see what you think.
Hello. I'm Dr. Sharon Weinstein. Thank you for joining me today as we live whole health. We are going to practice massage for well-being, the head and neck. Before we begin, please make sure that you have washed your hands thoroughly, removed your jewelry, and that you are sitting comfortably in an environment free of distractions. Let's start with some stretching. Raise your shoulders and drop your chin down a little bit. Hold your shoulders tight, tight, tight. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Drop those shoulders. Let's do that again. Raise the shoulders up. Hold them tight, 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 tight. Just let your chin drop gently in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time. Hold those shoulders tight, 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 squeeze. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and drop the shoulders. Now I'll have you bring your arm up to your head and stretch that neck. If it's comfortable, bring the opposite arm behind your back. Let's take a deep belly breath and stretch that neck. Breathe deeply into the belly. Good, let's relax that. Now take our other arm, top of the head,
I think we'll
stretch that neck. If it's comfortable, the other arm.
And I'll just say that's Sharon Weinstein, who's she's both a physician and a massage therapist. And all of these videos are made by VA practitioners who are out there working in the facilities, treating people and sharing some of these techniques with them. But every time I hear Sharon talk, I just feel better instantly. I don't know about you, but I can just sit and listen to her talk. So that's just one example, as I said, of what you can find on this #LiveWholeHealth site. And I really, this is for you. I mean, obviously it's up to you whether you use it or not, clearly. But if you're here, again, I think you might have some interest in learning some new skills and getting some experiences that can help you, as I said, just stay healthy and well and take more charge of where you're going. So the last part that I want to do with you during the session is do a brief relaxation exercise with you and show you a specific technique that I found very helpful over the years and that I've really taught to a lot of people at this point, and that many people have found very helpful. So Megan, can you go to the next slide? Thanks. So this is just something, if you care to look at. And I'm just going to go ahead and talk now for the next 4 or 5 minutes. And you can go ahead and follow my instructions if you feel comfortable and see how this works for you. First thing to do, if you feel comfortable doing it, is close your eyes. If you don't feel like you want to close your eyes just now, just let your eyes rest on that photograph of the road running through the green fields. And the next thing I want you to do is let yourself breathe a little bit more deeply than you usually do, just a little more deeply. But instead of just taking a big in-breath, which is what we usually do when people tell us to breathe deeply, let yourself focus on the out-breath and let your out-breath become longer than it usually is, as long as you can make it. So let's just try that with the next few breaths. Whatever pace is good for you, that's the right pace. Long out breath. And while I'm talking, if you get distracted or start thinking about what's for dinner or what was for breakfast or what has to happen later, when you realize that you're distracted, just come on back and let the next out breath be a long one. It's a great way to throw a switch, change the way your body is working, change the way your mind is working. Just let yourself let go of some of the things that may be holding you back at a given time. So again, just in breath and long out breath. And now I just want you to imagine a tree. We've all seen a tree. It can be any type of tree that you like. People live in all different parts of the country, all different parts of the world. Pretty much everywhere you go, there are trees. And just imagine yourself as a tree. Feel your feet on the floor, pressing against the floor. All the while you're continuing to breathe with the long out breath. And imagine the connection between your feet and the floor. Just feel that connection. Let your breath go all the way down into your feet. Feel how strong that connection is, tying you to the earth. Something we have all the time. And now imagine, as you continue to breathe, the trunk of that tree, strong and growing, carrying up nutrients, water, sugar, everything the tree needs up into the branches and eventually up into the leaves. And now imagine those leaves soaking in the sunlight, soaking in the rain, and using that sun and rain to make food for the tree, to give what it needs. And then even more, imagine that what that tree is doing is giving off oxygen, not only helping itself, but making the environment around it richer, more livable, more beautiful. Sometimes we think of ourselves as always moving, always changing, always going somewhere, doing something. It can be useful to just imagine what it would be like if we were a tree, rooted, connected, and then at the same time reaching up for the sky. So now I'm going to demonstrate to you a technique that I've used many years with myself and with many patients over the years. And I'll describe it and then you can give it a try. So what you're going to do is take your thumb and forefinger on your right hand and press them together, just like this. Firmly, not too firmly to be uncomfortable or make your hands tired, and not so lightly that you can't really feel it. So do that with one hand and you can rest it in your lap or on the table. And if you're able, do the same thing with your other hand, thumb and forefinger together, and firm pressure there. So now if you're able, you've got both thumb and forefinger on each hand pressed together firmly. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths, focusing on the out breath again. And then when you get to the third out breath, you're going to let go of your thumb and forefinger. And when you let go, you're going to also let go of anything that might be holding you back, bothering you, getting in your way, making you tense or tired, just letting it go, doing all that with your breath. So let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths while still being aware of thumb and forefinger, in and out with the long out breath. Do it at your own pace. And when you get to the 3rd out breath, go ahead and let your thumb and forefinger on each hand relax, fall away from each other, and let yourself let go of any tension, any stress, anything that's not helping you in your hands, in your body, in your mind. Just let yourself let go. And let yourself just have a minute or two to just feel a little bit more quiet, a little bit more calm, just a little bit, maybe 5%, maybe 10%, just a little bit more where you want to be. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So that seems incredibly simple. You can do it in 1 minute. I think I took about 4 or 5 minutes there, but you can do this in 30 seconds for that matter. And it's something I use a lot. I use it in meetings when I'm feeling aggravated. I use it when I'm riding the subway or driving and I'm in traffic. Obviously, when I'm driving, I don't do both hands. I only do one hand. And I don't close my eyes, may I point out? That seems obvious. But bottom line, it's a way we talk about having an anchor. So that thumb and forefinger thing, although it seems like very meditation-like, it's really just about a physical anchor. It helps you settle down into your body and center yourself just for that brief period of time. And then doing that can really help you change your perspective on things, help you be a little more centered, a little more calm, maybe sometimes even make better decisions, maybe sometimes come out of that and say something nice to somebody in your family who you might just not have noticed or thought about. So really encourage that as just one thing you can try. And as I said, that's just one of millions of options that are out there for skills for you to learn, many of which you can find on that #LiveWholeHealth site. So just to repeat that for you in case it's not sticking, you sit comfortably, you close your eyes, you let the out breath become long. And then I use the image of a tree growing because I like that one, but you could use other images. You could imagine a blue sky with clouds. You could imagine the brook running by you or the waves on the ocean, whatever works for you. And then you put thumb and forefinger together, press them firmly, and 3 breaths. And the 3rd out breath, you let go, letting go of whatever else is not helpful to you at that time. So that's just a tool I've used for many years and that I think can be very helpful because it's very concrete. Sometimes if you just say, sit down there and quiet your mind, it's hard because we have a lot of thoughts, a lot of plans, a lot of worries, intentions, feelings, memories. And so this gives you an anchor and it gives you something specific to do for just a minute or two to help yourself get a little more calm and quiet. So that's really the end of what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you found this helpful in some way. And most of all, I hope that you take a minute or 10 minutes or an hour to check out both our office website, va.gov/wholehealth, and the #LiveWholeHealth campaign, and look for something that works for you and give it a try. Nothing to lose, only to gain. There's no rules, there's no order, there's no homework, there's nothing required. But really would urge you just to give it a try and see if anything on one of those 2 resources grabs you and really becomes something you want to consider doing on a somewhat regular basis. So thank you so much for having me today. It's really a privilege to work with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation, and it's really a privilege to be able to speak to you all out there. And I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you found this helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kliger, for making the time to be with us today. I apologize that we can't answer all of your questions in our mini episode today, but please feel free to email us at events@elizabethdolefoundation.org. You can also find that email address in the chat box below. I'd also like to take this opportunity to mention our respite relief program in partnership with CareLinks. To apply and learn more about respite, please visit hiddenheroes.org/respite. That link is also in our chat box below. I would also like to again thank our sponsors and partners for this program, Phillips and the Veterans Administration. If you've enjoyed today's webinar, I encourage you to check out our YouTube page for past webinars on helpful topics like telehealth, rural health, and sleep solutions. The Elizabeth Dole Foundation is also excited to announce our second annual Military Kids Have Talent program. Our first episode airs next week on July 29th. Please join us as we celebrate military youth and children. You can find out more information at hiddenheroes.org/militarykidshavetalent. Finally, I encourage everyone to attend our next Spotlight episode focusing on heart health solutions. That will be on August 19th. Please be on the lookout in your inboxes for information on how to register for that event. Thank you all for attending, and I hope to see you all at the next Spotlight series.